Hi, here's Coach Felipe Lima, and today I'm gonna talk to you about many important things that will allow you to use all the energy that you have to make your future, to make actions today to build your future. Sometimes when I'm talking to a coachee and we are talking about their dreams, and I can see the fear in their eyes of making mistakes and fail trying to make that happen. You won't have a strong dreamer if you are feeling guilty about your past. Every time when I find fear in someone, is just a consequence of feeling guilty about some mistakes of the past. Think about in a minute about your fears, the fears that you have today, and try to make a connection with something that happened in your past. One day a coachee told me, Coach, I'm afraid of make mistake in my test. So I asked her when this fear was created. When something went wrong in your past and you are feeling guilty about it. And sometimes the experience, it's so heavy, it still hurts when you think about it, that your unconscious action is just forget it and you don't even remember what happened, but the fear is still there and you can feel the consequence of that action in your life, and you have to face it. You have to come back in that moment and make this connection to understand what happened at that moment and to solve this problem. So make a list of what do you fear, what are you afraid of, and let's make this travel to your past to try to understand better and solve this situation, this problem. The first step is make a connection with your present fear. Please close your eyes. Try to find in your body where you can notice this fear. You can feel this fear stronger and put your hand on it. Take a deep breath and say, welcome fear. Now you may open your eyes and tell me, as I could hear you, how do you feel now? One day I was talking to a coachee of mine, and he couldn't make actions in his life. He was always procrastinating and lazy. And I asked him, what are you afraid of? And sometimes we are afraid of preparing ourselves, doing what we have to do, and the thing goes wrong. And I just asked him, what do you have to forgive yourself of? What is the things that happened in your past that you still feel guilty? And he said, nothing. That is nothing really, really, really important, but I can remember. And believe me, the first intention is to hide that memory in your mind. And he told me that 8 years ago, he was late to do a test, and he missed the test. He couldn't do the test. He just arrived and found the doors closed. And that was a really, really, really painful experience. So try to imagine how difficult it was to tell his father about that mistake. He lost his money, he lost his time, he lost his opportunity, he lost to himself. And maybe he heard, you don't have responsibility, you are a loser, I'm shame on you. And 8 years later, he was carrying that guilt. So I asked him to come back to that moment and forgive himself. He cried a lot, feeling again, making the connection with the guilt and understanding what happened at that time, receiving the guilt. And he said, welcome guilt, to make this connection, to understand the feeling. And then he received the resources to deal better with that feeling. Now I ask you, what happened in your past that you have to forgive yourself? Please close your eyes, come back in that moment and see what you saw, feel what you felt, hear what you heard, and make the connection with that moment to understand that moment to you. And you may say loud, welcome guilt. Now you may open your eyes and tell me, how do you feel now as I can hear you? That's the time to make a list of all the resources that you can use to overcome this guilt. I believe the first resource that you have to take is the forgiveness, to forgive yourself about that and understand that everybody makes mistakes. You are a human being. You don't need to be perfect to make your dreams come true. So please close your eyes. Don't miss your time. And make the connection to the person that will give to you this resource, the forgiveness. So you can make this meeting inside of your mind. You can feel the connection, the energy of that person. You can feel the color of the resource, feel the resource getting inside of you, growing inside of you, and you may say, welcome forgiveness. You may say, I forgive myself. Now you may open your eyes and tell me, how do you feel now? Better? And you may take now the second resource. How could it be if you could receive patience? Because when something goes wrong, you wanna do it now, in this moment, and you push up yourself to do everything right, just right away. So please, close your eyes, make the connection to a person that will give to you this resource of patience. And you have to feel this connection, you have to feel this energy, see the color of the resource coming to you, growing inside of you, and you may say, welcome patience. I would ask you to say it again, paying attention in each word you say, welcome patience. And homework, you have to do this exercise, this meeting, receiving the resource from someone that will give it to you. See the color. You may allow the resource get inside of you, grow inside of you, and say, welcome, and the name of the resource. And I would love to receive an email telling us about your experience with this technique. And you have to practice it every day in your life. When you feel the fear, say welcome, make the connection, understand your fear, and try to discover in your past when this fear was created. And maybe it's not easy to find the exact moment that it happened, but if you make this connection with the fear of the present, you will find the moment in your past that you created in your life. So As much as you can understand your fear, the fear that is in your present, in an easy way, you will discover the place in your past that the guilt was created. And you have to come back in the past, close your eyes, and feel it again to understand that moment, make the connection with that guilt, and then receive all the resources from someone, from a model. And this model can be anyone, any person that you know, even from a movie or from your family. And you need to make this meeting a real thing in your mind. You have to imagine the details of this meeting, making the connection with that person and receiving the resource. So as more as you practice it, will be more easy to do it. I hope you enjoy our class today and see you tomorrow. Bye.